Hi, this is Lynn and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about a very exciting investment vehicle. It's a solid investment vehicle that will return 9.62% in interest to you over the next 6 months while your capital is fully protected by the U.S. government. These are I-bonds. I'm going to show you where to get these, how to purchase these, and I do own some of these myself. And as long as interest rates are going up, they will start paying more also. They do follow interest rates, but they won't go lower than 0%. And you can see the government gives a really great return when interest rates are rising. And let's go and show you how to buy I-bonds. But first, if you could give this video a thumbs up in return for me bringing this information to you, I'd greatly appreciate it. And while you're at it, subscribe. So let's take a look at I-bonds. First of all, you want to go to www.treasurydirect.gov, G-O-V, because you want to make sure not to go to any other site, but go to the government site. Then you want to click on Individual Investor. Here you can invest in treasury bills, which is a really great opportunity that I'll share with you in the future, treasury notes, tips, and others. But today we're focusing on the fantastic series I-bonds, and we'll share information on that. So first of all, let's answer your questions about what an I-bond is, how you can invest in it, what happens with the interest, and information like that. So you can see here that Series I savings bonds, the initial rate, as I mentioned, on new Series I bonds is 9.62%. You can buy I bonds at that rate through October 2022. So the rate is applied to the 6 months after the purchase is made. So if you make it now and the rates go up in 3 months, you're still going to get the 9.62 amount for 6 months after your purchase date. On the other hand, if it goes down, you're still going to get that rate of 9.62%. And remember, the interest rate cannot go lower than 0% if interest rates ever go to negative. So, for example, if you buy an I-bond on July 1st, 2022, the 9.62% would be applied through December 31st, 2022, and the interest is compounded semi-annually. So you can only purchase up to $10,000 in electronic I-bonds each calendar year. If you buy I-bonds exceeding that limit, you will be receiving a refund, which could take a while. You can use some of your tax refund for more, which you can leverage in this instance. You can use I-bonds to save in a low-risk product that helps protect your savings from inflation, supplement a retirement income, give as a gift, or pay for education. And there's some great benefits if you do use it to pay for education. So the interest rate is a combination of a fixed rate that stays the same for the life of the bond and an inflation rate that is set twice a year. For bonds issued from May 2022 through October, as I mentioned, the combined rate is 9.62%. Is it taxable? It is taxable for federal income tax, but not for state and local income tax. So that's a benefit if you're in a state like I am, where they do have local taxes. And using the money for higher education may keep you from paying federal income tax on your interest. And you can go to that section if you want to learn more about that. So the minimum purchase for an electronic I-bond is $25. For a paper I-bond is $50. So how long must you keep an I-bond? I-bonds earn interest for 30 years unless you cash them first. You can cash them after 1 year, but if you cash them before 5 years, you can lose the previous 3 months of interest. Well, that's not too bad. For example, if you cash an I-bond after 18 months, you get the first 15 months of interest. How do I buy an I-bond? You can buy them electronically online, that's what I do, in Treasury Direct, including through payroll direct deposit, or by mail when you file your federal tax return. So who may own an I-bond? If you have a Social Security number and you meet any of these 3 conditions, you may purchase I-bonds. If you're a U.S. citizen, whether you live in the U.S. or abroad, if you're a U.S. resident, if you're a civilian employee of the U.S., no matter where you live, but you must first establish a Treasury Direct account. Children under 18 can also own I-bonds if they meet one of the following conditions above for individuals. So they can buy electronic bonds in Treasury Direct. A child may not open a Treasury Direct account, buy securities in Treasury Direct, or conduct other transactions in Treasury Direct. A parent or other adult custodian may open for the child a Treasury Direct account that is linked to the adult's Treasury Direct account. The parent or other adult custodian can buy securities and conduct other transactions for the child, and other adults can buy savings bonds for the child as gifts. So if people have nieces or nephews or grandchildren, it's a great gift. Paper bonds. Adults may also purchase paper bonds in the name of a child. So a trust, estate, corporation, partnership, and other entities can also buy these I-bonds. As I mentioned, you can buy them in electronic form in the online program Treasury Direct, or buy them in the paper form using your federal income tax refund. So you might wonder what paper I-bonds look like, so let's take a peek. You can see here that paper I-savings bonds look like the $100 I-bond features a picture of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Helen Keller is on the $50 one. $75 one has Dr. Hector P. Garcia. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. As for the hundreds I mentioned, Chief Joseph is on the $200 one. George Marshall on the $500, and so on. You can see Albert Einstein is on the $1,000 I-bond. So you want to know, if you have and you purchase them, how do you cash them? So let's talk about that next. You have two options. If you hold an account at a local bank and it cashes savings bonds, you can ask the bank if it will cash yours. Send the bonds to Treasury Direct is the other option. Bonds aren't eligible for cashing, as I mentioned earlier, until they're 12 months old. So if you can't cash the I-bonds with your bank, you can send your bonds to Treasury Direct with a FS Form 1522, which you can get from their online site here. You don't need to sign the bonds. You will need to validate your identity. FS Form 1522 tells you how. See the certification section of the form. The form also gives their address, and they'll mail you a tax form the following January. So I'd love to hear your comments about I-bonds. Do you hold I-bonds? Have you considered getting them? What are your thoughts about this way to get an exciting, safe investment for you and your family? If you have other great safe investment vehicles that you would like to share with me, I'd love to hear about it so I could share with our subscribers. Also, make sure and go here and sign up for our newsletter so that you can be notified about important stock market moves and before videos like this come out. Next, go here to learn about some other exciting ways to save and invest your money.